Hey everybody, this is Dave with Blue Line Battle Sports, and today I wanted to address cheating in Airsoft. Um, this weekend I went out, I had a good time, I played at one of my favorite fields, everything was great, except for one dude. Right? One dude was out there ruining it for a lot of people. He wasn't calling his hits. Um, he even got called out by the ref, and he came over and asked, "Hey, if you guys don't think I'm calling my hits, just let me know." I'm gonna play a quick video for you guys, and then we'll talk about that video. I want you to notice the little bullshit BB dance he does there after I stop shooting to show like he wasn't getting hit.
Bullshit. Come the fuck on, man. Call you.
If you guys weren't keeping track, that was 34 separate hits from just me. That's just my footage. That's not anybody else's. That was 34 separate hits from one other player that he decided he was going to ignore. Okay, 34. And that last one, they were long range across the field where he was behind that bush. I mean, you guys can see him. He's moving, he's dodging, he's trying to get away from getting hit, but he just wouldn't put his hand up. And it's blatant cheating like that I'm talking about. I mean, we've all gone out there and played, and we may not have felt the hit, or we might have thought it was a ricochet, or we thought it was a twig branch slapping us in the backside or something like that. We've all been there, okay? It's not like I'm saying that everybody calls 100% of their hits 100% of the time. There are some times where people are like, was that a hit or not? I do know some people that will, if they're not sure, they'll just walk off. I'm a little too competitive for that. If I know I've been hit, I'm calling it. If it's questionable, like I'm in a building and you're shooting in the building, and I get hit from the back and there's no one behind me, it's just ricocheting off the walls, I'm not calling it. I'm not, because ricochets don't count at the fields that I play at. Also, feet hits under the buildings, because there are some gaps between the ground and the buildings where I play at. Those feet hits don't count, because there's a lot of confusion when those buildings were first built, and it was decided by a lot of the regulars that we're just not going to count them because there's nothing to climb. Like you're going to get hit in the ankles, and the field just hasn't filled those in yet. They're working on it, but they just have not filled those in yet. But when it comes to blatant cheating, like this guy that was in that video, I mean, he's my YouTube short for this week. He's also on TikTok and I think Instagram and X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And the reason I put those out there, it's not just for the clicks. Like a lot of people are like, oh, that's just clickbait. It is. It legitimately is clickbait. And it does drive traffic to the site, which is important when you're a content creator, but especially starting out. But I personally like to put those out there from time to time. I don't like putting them out there, but I will put them out there. Let me rephrase. Just to know these guys, like to let them know that they've gotten caught. Like those same people that are watching this video or watch that short, that guy watches my stuff. He's going to know he's caught. And hey, dude, you need to stop. I've been to some very high-end fields or well-known fields in the area, especially indoor, where a lot of the kids, like, they want to be speed softers. And there's a whole Milsim speed soft argument. I'm not doing that. I like to hybridize it too. Speed soft's got some valid points, and so does Milsim. But, they look up to guys like SYG and Demo and Rooster and all these other guys, right? But here's the thing with those guys. At the level they're at, they don't cheat, because if they cheat, they cost their team the event. That's why they're using tracers indoors. They have refs all over the place. And maybe that keeps some of them honest. I don't know the guys personally. I do know a few of the older YouTube celebs like Jet and some of the guys that are no longer around in the industry that were big at one time. And they can't stand cheating either, man. Like, it's not, they don't cheat, okay? That's the issue. They're not out there cheating. And when these kids, or some of y'all who are out there watching this now, want to emulate those players, you're doing a disservice to those players, because they're not playing like you do. They actually play the game. They're not out there just acting a fool and not calling their hits. I watched a kid at a certain indoor field. I shot him in the mask. I watched the BB bounce off of it, and I won't post that video because the field generally doesn't allow videotaping in there because they don't want a lot of people showing negative stuff that does happen. It's an indoor field. It does happen. But this kid was walking. I shot him in the mask. He spun, shot me out. I called it. I'm walking back. And as I'm walking back, I'm watching him walk to the spawn point for our team. You can literally see the BBs and tracers bouncing off of his legs, his stomach, his chest, his head, his hands. And he's just spamming his trigger, shooting into respawn, not calling any of the hits he's doing, and not letting people out of respawn. That right there ruins everyone's freaking day. It makes everyone angry. It makes people want to quit. I have left fields in the middle of the day, or night, depending on the field. But I've left fields in the middle of a session simply because I'm not arguing with 14-year-olds. I'm not going to do it. I'm way too old for that crap. But I'm not having a good time. I'm just wasting my money, spinning my wheels, and getting pissed off. And you're literally shutting down fields. One field in particular is an indoor field here. Their team did that so often. They cheated so often that they ran off all of his business, and he just closed down. And everyone I've talked to about that field, I love that field. I thought it was kind of cool. It was a very small field. It was room to room. It was kind of in an office building / warehouse. It was a really neat field. But his players ran everybody off. And other players I've talked to have said the same reason they don't go there. Not only is it too small, because they wanted a bigger field, and there's some design things I think he could have implemented, but that's neither here nor there. But a majority of it was his players, his regular players, his home team that was full of cheaters ran his business into the ground for him. You got to think about that as a field owner too. You know, you guys like going to local fields, you like having people to play with, but you're going to run a field into the ground because you can't call a hit. And as a former field owner myself, it was one of the most frustrating things. We used to just ban you. We got 3 complaints on you. You were gone. I didn't care if you were innocent or not. 3 complaints, 3 separate complaints from different people. That's it. And if me or any of my staff actually saw you not call a hit, like an obvious hit, you were gone. I can't count how many people we kicked off that field. And we had some reviews that were not favorable because they're too short-tempered. They don't this, they don't that. No, I kicked you off for cheating or for smoking weed in the parking lot. That happened a few times too. But I kicked you out for cheating. And that was just the end of you. And if you don't like it, well, get fucked, to quote Elon Musk. I mean, who cares, dude? Like, I don't want that business. You will shut my business down. Cheating. We had another team that used to come out there and rent the field from us, but open it up to the public. It was their private event that they opened to the public, but they come out there and mistreat the players. We threw them off. It was a steady income. I didn't have to do. I just rented it out, showed up, made sure they were safe. That was all I had to do. It was simple. They weren't safe. They were cheating all the time. They were pissing people off, telling people they on the field. We kicked them out, the whole team. I gave up income, guaranteed income that I didn't have to work for except just to be present because they were ruining my field. You guys have to understand that cheaters will destroy a field. And y'all don't think that that's a thing. Another thing that cheaters bring is people like that idiot Kickin' Mustang or whatever his name is. Like, he's allowed to be that much of a douche because people are tired of cheating. His channel is doing so well because we want to see cheaters get fucked up because we're tired of it. But his toxic behavior, I mean, he's been banned from fields all over the UK because he's unsafe. It's headshots, it's groin shots constantly on anybody. It doesn't matter. And half his videos are staged anyway. He doesn't even hit the targets. If you look at the BBC's, use a very clear camera, you can see him miss, and he's like, I'm going to shoot him in the head because he's cheating. And then he goes on a rampage shooting everybody in the head or the neck or the soft bits just because, oh, there's cheaters out here, I can do it. And we watch and we encourage that. And he makes a decent amount of money off of YouTube because of cheaters. And some of these guys aren't even legit cheaters that he's shooting. It's just there's so many cheaters out there that people just feel like, well, we want to watch this. So he does really well. I mean, I can make an entire channel out of cheating videos too and going around hurting people, but that's not why I play Airsoft. I'm not out there to hurt people. I did 8 years in the Army. I've done 30 years combined of law enforcement and security and corrections experience. Like, I've done everything there is to do in that industry. I got nothing to prove. I'm not going to go out to hurt somebody playing Airsoft. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, but this is what we're watching now and paying. I mean, they're paying ad dollars to this idiot to abuse people because we're tired of cheaters, and that falls back to the cheaters. It doesn't fall back on the people that are watching it. It falls back on the cheaters because they're creating a market for that. So now you've got fields shutting down. You've got unsafe conditions. You've got a community. Everyone's talking about grow the sport, especially these speed softeners. Like, grow the sport, grow the sport. And I get like the popular ones, the ones that are out there doing stuff like Valiant and Demo and the rest of SYG and the other top teams out there. I get why they're saying grow the sport. They want this to be a sport to grow like paintball did. And paintball's doing phenomenal. It's a multi-million-dollar business. And it's survived every depression or every recession, not depression. It survived COVID. It survived all this stuff, and so has Airsoft. So they want to grow it, but then you get these little kids that are out there trying to emulate these guys, like, grow the sport, but they're cheating. Dude, you're wrecking the sport. You personally are wrecking the sport. So that's just my thoughts on it. You could tell me to shut up. I don't know what I'm talking about. Whatever. I don't care. I've been doing this a lot longer than a lot of you have even been alive. I enjoy the sport. I play it because I like it. I'm rapidly approaching 50 years old and still in the game, still sadly outrunning some of you younger guys. You guys really need to step it up if I'm outrunning you, because I'm not in great shape. Like, really, just play with some integrity, guys. That's all I'm asking. Play with some integrity. This one that was in this video, man, 34 times from one player, and I know that the other guys I was hanging with, there's 3 other guys I was hanging with, they all complained about every time they got into a gunfight with you, man. So let's just say that I'm the average. I'm not even the best one. You know, that's 120 times. I won't even run it down to 30. That's 120 times with 4 players shooting at you. You did not call your hits out of 5 games, man. Out of 5 games, you mean to tell me 120 times you can't call a hit, you can't walk your happy ass back to respawn, but you're over there talking about, I'm going to go to big Milsima games, I'm going to go to these events, I want to do a YouTube channel? Bro, I'm going to tell you now, you do a YouTube channel and cheat like you do, you'll be shut down before you started. I have seen guys that go out there and cheat for their footage, and as soon as they get called out, as soon as there's proof of them cheating, they lose it all. You get canceled that fast. So keep playing around, and you'll see how far you'll get in this sport. It'll be nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. So consider this, if you watch this video and you're the guy in this video that's not calling your hits, dude, take it as a wake-up call. Like, straighten up, play right, dude. We'll hang out with you. That's fine. But you're going to find yourself on the field all alone and everybody's going around you. Or simply just, if we know it's you, just walking past you and not even bothering worrying if you're shooting this or not, man. Like, I mean, if you're not going to call your hits, we're just not going to play with you, dude. Like, you'll show up, but you won't be there. You know what I'm saying? And that's how that's going to go. So again, like, guys, seriously, like, play smart and play safe, but play with freaking integrity, and I hope to see you guys out on the field.